Hey, let's get out in the shed and make some tiny toolboxes. Why not?
This is the Old Guy Network.
Yep.
Welcome back to the Old Guy Network. I'm the old guy, the OG, Jay, and you knew that already. Nice day in the trailer hood. Glad to have you here with me. I really do like it when people stop by. And before we get started today, we are going to get out into the shed. But before we do that, please, I want to remind you to hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. I've got quite a few more subscribers this week than I had last week, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I've got a ways to go, so you can help me out by subscribing to the channel if you feel like it. So, yeah, I'd appreciate it. And today we are going to go back out into the shed because I'm going to start making some tiny toolboxes, and not just any tiny toolboxes. These are tiny toolboxes that will contain whatever you want to put in it. I don't care. Make these little boxes for people. They call them trinket boxes, and people will put trinkets in them. They'll put their jewelry in them. They'll put spare change, cigars, other things that they want to smoke. You know, things like that. And I thought, well, I'll change it up a little bit, and I'll make them look like little toolboxes. So I have no plans. They're all right up here. I've got some ideas. So let's head on out there and see if we can't make a tiny toolbox. We are back in the shop, and no, I haven't been smoking. That's how cold it is in here. I turned the heat on, and it should warm up pretty quick. Now, we're going to make some tiny toolboxes today, and why am I going to do that? I don't know. I make a bunch of boxes for a bunch of people to put stuff in, like I mentioned earlier, and I thought I'd switch it up and make them look like little toolboxes. So, first thing we're going to need, a couple of pieces of scrap wood. If this was new wood and not all beat up, I could probably do it with one of these boards, but no, they're in pretty rough shape. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to put these on the joiner, then put them on the planer, and we're going to have some nice stock to work with, and then we're going to cut up the pieces and put together some little toolboxes. And I'm not going to be fancy. We're not using dovetail joints or rabbit joints or finger joints. No, we're just going to use good old-fashioned butt joints. We're going to keep it simple and just make them fairly quickly. Now, as you can see here, I drove a nail right through the side of it when I put the bottom on, and I have a couple of holes in the bottom. So a little bit later on, I'm going to make up some wood fill, and I'll show you how to do that in just a bit. Because the box is now a little wider than the board that I had, I have to splice two pieces of wood together to make the top. And I've already jointed them, and now I'm just checking to make sure they're square. And as you can see, they're pretty damn square. Now I'll just add a little bit of glue to both sides of each piece of wood, and we'll put these together, put a couple of clamps on them, and then we'll move on to the next step. Well, as you can see, we've got the two pieces glued together. I've already put one clamp on. I'm putting the other clamp on now. And then to keep the two pieces straight and flat, I have another process to do. Now what I've done here is just take two pieces of sacrificial wood, put them on either side of the place where I glued, and put that in the vise, and that will keep the board straight, or straighter. So you want that piece of wood to be flat. When it's all done drying, then I can cut it, and it'll be nice and straight, and I won't have to put it through the planer or the joiner again, and that'll be a good thing. So now I'm going to make some filler, some wood filler. And I'm using the sawdust from my new sander. It's a very simple thing. You just take some glue and some sawdust. And now we're just going to mix that together. Normally I would do this in a little paper cup or some kind of container. It'd be a lot easier. But I don't have one out here. Now, why don't I use this method all the time? Well, because of the glue that I use, it doesn't really take a stain very well. So when I stain things, they're not going to come out very well. And we're not staining this, so I've got another idea for this. Now this is the bottom of the box, so we don't have to get that good with it. But that's pretty good, and I'm just going to let that set up and dry a little bit, and then we'll be able to sand that. And hopefully by that time, our lid will be dry, and we can finish this up. As I mentioned before, I'm not going to stain this, so I thought I would flame it. I love using torches on wood. It's like painting with fire, and this should come out pretty well, even though my normal torch that I use, it's not working anymore, so I'm just going to use this little butane one, and it should do a pretty good job.
My dad says butane's a bastard gas.
So now that our board is dry, all I have to do is cut it down to size, and then I'm going to put a 30-degree bevel on each side just to give it that old school toolbox look. Now I'm just going to cut out a little piece of stock, and we're going to use that for the handle on the top. And after I cut it out here, we'll just bring it over to the scroll saw and see if I can't make a handle out of it. I no longer have a working belt sander. And so I did the next best thing. I took my palm sander, turned it upside down, stuck it in a vise, and it works pretty good. Just make sure you don't crank up the vise too much. You might break your sander. I've decided I want to do a little whittling, and I thought I'd make this look a little bit more homemade, a little rustic. I like rustic. So I'm just going to carve this out a little bit and round it up. And there you have it, little toolbox. The only thing I don't have is the hinges and the hardware, like I said before. But, and this isn't glued together yet. So as soon as the hinges come in and the hardware, I'll put those on and show you what this is going to look like. I think I am going to put some clear poly on it as well. So it ought to look pretty damn cool. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I came into the trailer, I got a notice on my phone. It said that the hardware and hinges had been dropped off at my mailbox. So I went down and got them, and look what I did. And these are nice hinges and this nice hasp. I think it kind of goes with it. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? I like that. So much so that I'm not even going to bother putting any... I'm not going to put poly on this one. Maybe if I build a bunch to sell, I will. But this one, this is the prototype, and I'm going to keep this one. And I put one of my fancy labels on there, one of my stickers. But this came out pretty well. In there, you can put your change, knickknacks, jewelry, whatever, pencils. But what do you think? Just a simple little design. Kind of looks like a toolbox, and who knows? Maybe I'll make a whole bunch of these. I've got all kinds of different boxes that I make, and I kind of like that one. I think the next one I'm going to make some kind of hinge for a proper handle and make it look more like a toolbox handle. I've got an idea how to do that. But for now, for the first one, kind of looks like Herman Munster's lunchbox too, just a little bit. Except I think his was metal. But yeah, that's it. It's amazing what you can do. You just put your mind to it, just think of a few things, try to get an idea, grab yourself some old pallet wood, and as long as you got the will and a few tools, hey, you can make anything you want. And I prove that just about every single day. And I've got more things on the way. I've been working on a project I didn't do a video on. It's for a good friend of mine who's had kind of a tough time this past year, and well, like a lot of us have, but his were for something else. And he's a real nice guy, and I'm gonna send him a project that I'm working on right now, and I'm not going to tell you any more about that, except I've asked him to when he gets the thing I'm sending him, not to open it up, wait until I call him, and we're going to do a Zoom call, and we're going to do an unboxing of the gift I'm giving him right over the Zoom call. So that'll be kind of cool, and hopefully we'll be able to do that pretty soon. I'm almost finished with it, but for now I got a small toolbox, and you know what I'm going to put in there, don't you? Cigars. So that's going to do it for me, the old guy, and for the Old Guy Network. I'm out.